think you're starting to see now a pattern in how we're creating our exercises. And really, the pattern is something that you want to create or follow while you're doing your civil design. Create something simple and something to start with. Edit and use the power of Civil 3D's editing features. And then follow up and make sure all your labels are placed correctly. But at any time, as we've seen with alignments, the labels are automatic. And we'll cover that in more detail. So we've created our alignment. Now let's edit our alignment. We're going to go ahead and open up our exercise for editing. That's the 0604 Align Edit. We see the alignment already here with the curves in there, and we're going to select that alignment. Now when we select that alignment, we get a few different types of grips. Now let's cover those grips. First are the square grips. Square grips are changing the coordinates of an object. When you see a triangle that is straight up, that is referring to the point of intersection of these two tangents. So it's the implied intersection, and if we select that, we actually are changing the coordinates for the end of this line and the start of this line. So we're changing coordinates for both fixed lines. The grips here for the circle, because they're a free circle, would change the point of curvature or the point of tangency. And so we can slide this along this direction, and you notice that it's changing the point of tangency. Ultimately, of course, we're changing the point of curvature as well, and the radius itself. Now, this middle circle grip is not a midpoint. It's a point that defines a pass-through point for our curve. It simply means that this curve has to pass through this point. And so if I pick here, what it has done is change the radius so as to have the curve pass through the point that was selected. Lastly, we have the triangle that's right off the midpoint. And if I pick that triangle, it allows me to actually adjust the radius. Now, if you're using dynamic input, as you see here on my screen, we can actually type in a radius, and it will pick up that information. So a lot of different grips that allow us to edit our alignments. But beyond the grips, we also have within our geometry editor some features. As we've already covered, we can delete or insert PIs. But one of the most powerful methods is using the grid view. So at the very end of my Alignment Layout Tools toolbar, you can choose Grid View. The Grid View opens up the Panorama palette and presents all the information about the alignment entities. And so these are all the different entities that make up the alignment. And you can change even the constraint. So maybe you chose the wrong constraint for an object, such as the curve. You can always change that after the fact. Depending on the constraints will make a difference on what information you can change here in the grid view. As I pick these items, notice in the AutoCAD space, the model space, is highlighting which items I have selected. You see here that I also have the ability to type in a change of the radius. So we're going to set both radii to 150 feet as our radius selection. So we can make that change quickly here. And so what usually happens is we're going to use the grips to graphically edit and get us close. And then we'll use the grid view to give us nice, clean, round, precise information. Between the two different methods of editing, we'll have a very well-defined, clean alignment.